I'm back. So, yeah, I think we're both just been thinking about reflecting on our traumas and stuff, and so, like, I think we're just, like, reflecting about the same thing, and I was like, oh, I do know what it's like to be in enmeshed families. And then so I was like, so how I got out of it, even though it wasn't my immediate family or one that I made, per se, because it wasn't my first husband, it was it was more his adopted family. I don't know if I really want to talk about all that, like, that right now. I will eventually, but but anyways, so I was just like, oh, you just set boundaries and take your power back. Like, I don't know. I was just reflecting on all of that talk, and then even talking about it telepathically. It's like all this stuff is coming up for me, and I feel like it's also for him, and I also feel like it's collectively coming up. So it's like, it's just like our trauma's being put in our faces, and if we are like, nah, we're not dealing with it or whatever, it's like, not necessarily intentionally, like, you dream about it, and that's what's happening to me. And then I'm, like, in my dreams, like, freaking out, like that one dream the other night, and I had one also today or yesterday or whatever, or last night, whatever you want to call it. And then it was just intense. So that's why I was just, like, feeling so unloved and stuff today. And because when I woke up, I just, like, kept thinking about how my mom abandoned me and how many times it happened, and how she just, like, there were just times, so many times. Like, one time when we were getting ready to move, when I was, like, almost 9, it was almost 9, I was, like, 9. Her and my stepdad went, like, to a town, like, 10 miles away. And she didn't even know where I was, or, like, I guess back in the 90s, yeah, it's 90s still. Back in the 90s, it's kind of like that, but it was still, like, I still felt abandoned. I don't know. It still shouldn't have done that. Like, even though kids were, like, able to play from sunup to sundown or whatever, my mom didn't know where I was, and they just left. And I think she thought that, because I think I said I was gonna go play with my best friend. Turned out she wasn't home, and so I had to come back, and it just, I don't know. That one's probably not a very good example. There was many times, like, when I was younger, like, a toddler, and, like, just way younger. It was, like, my mom and my dad would party a lot, and then, like, was it at? Wow, I can't remember, but, like, I don't think I was 2 then. If I'm getting my time. This is fun. Getting timelines all effed up, but yeah, my mom and dad would go party, drinking, and, like, I guess just on the weekends, but still, my mom wasn't talking to my aunt, and I think it was because, like, when my grandma died, but she died when I was 8, so I don't know. This is, like, so confusing. But yeah, my aunt and my mom were not talking. They have patched things up since. But something with, like, my grandma's ring or something, I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And so, like, my mom they would just drop me off in front of my aunt's house, even though my aunt's having a party herself. drinking, have friends over. And literally, I thought I was 2 years old when somebody gave me a drink of beer at one of my aunt's parties because I was thirsty. I think I was actually older because I don't know. It's crazy. It's just like, I don't know, just realizing stuff like that. And there was more, but like for some reason, why the heck can't my brain, I can't remember. Like how my mom took better care of her animals than me and was always like so kind to them and loving to them and always like yelling at me. And then that made me think of how of the mistakes I made with my kids. But how I did better and better with each kid. I guess that's what you're supposed to do, but I don't want them to think one of them, like, I don't play favorites, you know? So, like, I feel really bad for my son because I know he got a lot of trauma. I'm sure I've made him feel abandoned, but it's hard to know. Plus he's a boy, so like it's gonna probably be harder for him to talk about it. Especially because I felt bad with the spring break. It was like a week for him. He had a week off from school, but I was not in the mental space and mental capacity to have him here, even though he's 14 and he can take care of himself. But like he stims like me, like loudly echolalia, stuff like that. And like it overstimulates me. It's weird. It's strange how that works. You can do the same stem as somebody, but like it's overstimulating when it's coming from somebody else. But yeah, I was still coming out of the only feeling anger thing after getting COVID. And so I didn't also want him to be having to deal with that. Like, I wasn't my best, and I didn't feel like it was fair to him either. Even though it was probably better than being at his dad's. But I still felt bad, because it's like, I don't want him to feel like I didn't want him here, you know, like, ugh. I was supposed to be talking about my dreams on here, but this one is just like all the trauma stuff. Yeah, there's plenty of other ways that my mom did that. Like, why can't my brain think of it right now? I don't know. Oh, I do now. I'm remembering. There was like a few times, like there was a few times that I like tripped. Like there's one time I tripped on I don't remember how old I was. I think my grandma was still alive. I tripped over my best friend's dog and like hit my head on the sidewalk, and then so I had a concussion. I'm pretty sure I think back and I did because I had a huge headache and my vision was blurry. But I didn't get taken to the doctor because, you know, as a kid, I'm still running around playing like nothing's wrong. To make another one.